This is Reimagining Abilities. Stories of the Charles Lee Center's impact supporting individuals with disabilities so they can be a part of the communities where they live, work, and play. Join us now in Reimagining Abilities. And we thank you for tuning in once again to Reimagining Abilities, the Charles Lee Center podcast. We thank you for taking time out of your day to catch up on what's happening here at the Charles Lee Center. And joining us today is Stacy Bobo. She is in charge of case management here with the center. And tell us again, but you have two titles, so tell us what they are so our viewers and listeners will know.
Yep. So I support our case managers, and I also support our person-centered planners.
Now, next week we've got National Case Management Week, which you're getting ready to celebrate. Tell us, why is it important to recognize our case managers?
Well, it's at the Charles Lee Center, we try our best to always show our employees how much we value them and how much that we appreciate what they do. But I think Case Management Appreciation Week it's just an extra layer of appreciation. Our case managers at the Charles Lee Center work so very hard that we really like the opportunity to be able to celebrate them, have a week that's dedicated just to them.
Now, tell us what goes into the case management process, because it's not just one person, it's a lot of moving parts that go into this one component. Tell us how it all comes together.
Right, absolutely. So I guess a little bit of kind of back history about case management before that we go into what they do. So at the Charles Lee Center, we provide services to adults and children with intellectual disabilities, related disabilities such as autism, Down syndrome, spina bifida, but we also provide case management services to adults and children with traumatic brain injuries and spinal cord injuries. We are approved to serve the entire state of South Carolina, but right now we just have cases in the upstate counties. We serve about 1,100 people in those counties across 10 case managers, so that's a pretty big caseload.
Wow, and your upstate region, you were telling me, is 12 counties?
It is 12 counties. We are in, I think, almost every county except for Oconee right now.
How do you keep up with that kind of workload? I mean, that's a lot of individuals and the population to serve, and not that many people to do it.
Right, it takes a lot of organizational skills on behalf of our case management, a lot of planning, a lot of follow through, and I think that's probably the biggest thing, is just being able to have a good working to-do list that they can always look at. So, because our ultimate goal is to be able to provide the best customer service and to be resource experts for the people that we support. So in doing that, we want to make sure that we're able to keep track of those things that the people need.
And I was going to say that you're kind of that conduit between the person and all of those resources, and things are always changing. How do you keep up with what's happening in that world to make sure that you're providing that stellar customer service?
Right. I think one thing that we have definitely learned in case management, and I would even say at the Charles Lee Center, is the only thing consistent is change. So we know that we can count on change. It just kind of goes back to being organized, having a good to-do list, staying on top of those things, always working ahead.
Now, you serve a lot of people in those various counties, but you were telling me you don't have to be a part of the Charles Lee Center community to use you as a resource. Tell us how you have that outreach with the rest of the community.
Right. So through our case management services, we provide case management for anyone who has a case open with the South Carolina Department of Disabilities and Special Needs. So that's kind of the only requirement, is having that case open with DDSN. There is something new out called conflict-free case management, and that's something that we are proudly, we are ahead of the game of, and we have met those requirements. And what that conflict-free case management says is that if a person is getting any type of day or work or residential services through Charles Lee, their case manager cannot also be employed by the Charles Lee Center. So all 1,100 people that we support through case management are actually in other counties. They're with other providers. They're with other disability boards in those counties. So we don't have anyone right now who has those other connections with the Charles Lee Center.
What case managers work with the Charles Lee Center then?
There's outside providers. So underneath the DDSN service system, there is a whole list of case management providers that the person supported can pick from. So the people who are in our day and work programs, they have case managers who are employed by different agencies.
And how can someone reach out to you or another case manager if they're interested, if they fall within those parameters to get assistance?
So the first thing would be to call DDSN to make sure that the person has a case open, and we can definitely share that intake number. And then if they have a case open, then from there they can easily get connected with a case management provider.
What kind of services can they get?
So case management is involved in probably every aspect of a person's life. You had said it earlier whenever you mentioned that case managers are involved with that person. They're really involved in any aspect, from helping them, secure new living environments, helping them to get connected with resources like Social Security benefits, SNAP benefits, Medicaid, Medicare, helping them get connected with medical professionals, helping them get connected with medical equipment, your walkers, your wheelchairs, your incontinence supplies. All of those things go through the case manager. They're also the ones who are there to help families in critical situations. The DSS may have became involved and, recommended alternate living environments, or maybe the primary caregiver can no longer provide care. All of those situations are where the case manager kind of steps in and they work their magic. I mean, they are truly resource experts with helping people get connected with the services to live as safe, healthy, and independent as possible.
What made you get into this?
So well over 15 years ago, I actually started at Charles Lee as an intern. I did my internship back in the training department. Still, even after I graduated college, I don't think I really even knew what I wanted to do. Was given the opportunity to be a case manager at Charles Lee, and now I could not imagine being anywhere else.
What's the most rewarding part of your job?
I would say meeting those needs. So when you get something as simple as a new shower chair or a new walker or even a ramp where someone can access family members' homes, and you see the difference that something so simple has made in that person's life, to me that's the most rewarding thing, is knowing that every single day we get up, we make those connections with families, we get to know the people we support, so that a lot of times we anticipate those things that they need even before they realize that they need them. That's what case management is about, and to me that's the most rewarding part, is seeing that we are helping people to be able to live as independent as possible and be able to do the things that everybody else is able to do in life.
What are some of the challenges you face doing this job?
I would say maybe sometimes the challenge is having a lot going on at one point in time. In case management, we kind of joke about juggling, several different balls at once, and I think maybe that's the most challenging thing, is just making sure, because we do have, a fairly large caseload of people that we support, is being able to, within a 40-hour work week, right? So being able to make sure that we can meet everybody's needs within that 40 hours as quickly as we possibly can.
Is there a need for more caseworkers?
There's always a need. Just looking at the number of cases that are coming through the DDSN system for intake, we are constantly getting new cases. So there's, more and more people who need that resource and who need that case management support in their corner.
There are a lot of people out there watching and listening that may have that in their heart to help others. How could they reach out and start a career as a case manager?
So through the DDSN system, you have to have certain educational requirements, and you also have to have experience working with the population. So that would be the first thing. Anybody can always give me a call, and I'll be more than happy to talk about those things. But basically, just having the degree in human services and the experience working with special needs.
That's excellent. Stacy, Bobo, thank you so much for your help and joining us here today on the podcast.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure.
And we thank you for tuning in once again to Reimagining Abilities. We'll talk to you next week.